Good evening, everyone. So, this will be my first real commentary video, and I wanted to make it regarding a subject that I'm very passionate about and something I feel that a lot of people either haven't recognized or they have recognized and they just refuse to really admit it's happening or admit that they know. So, if you've seen the title of the video, it'll probably be something like why TF2 will never get another major update. Um, and that's exactly true. So I want to preface this by all this future ranting by saying that I am not a TF2 hater. I've been playing the game for like 12 to 13 years. I've spent more than my fair share of money, and that I really don't hate the game, but I hate the state that it's in, and that state won't change. So if you're watching this video, you're probably familiar with the state that TF2 has been in for the past 5 to 6 years, but if you're not, bots have been infesting, spin bots, snipers that can instantly headshot you. These automated accounts have been flooding servers for the past 5 to 6 years on the default game mode to play in, which is casual. There's been no major content update issued out by Valve, only seasonal crates, which we'll get into in a bit, and that the overall state of the game has been pretty stagnant. So the first point that I really want to bring up is that the reason TF2 will never get a major content update is that there's no financial incentive to do so. Valve is no longer um they're no longer the indie developer, the new kid on the block who developed Half-Life and Steam and all this other fancy stuff. They're a business, and a multi-billion-dollar business at that. Um and like any business, they will take the route and the strategy that will give them the most amount of return for the least amount of work. And TF2 doesn't require any work at all. So that's mainly for three reasons. The game has been running on essentially autopilot for the past 5 to 6 years, with the only updates coming out being those seasonal updates, such as Scream Fortress, which is the Halloween update, and Smithmas, which is the Christmas update. And along with these seasonal updates have come out seasonal crates. Now, these crates contain cosmetics, weapon skins, all this fun stuff, but they're not really developed by Valve. They're developed by community members who put it up on the Steam Workshop, meaning that Valve doesn't even have to create their own content for TF2 anymore. They outsource it to the community, which does it for them, and then they release it in a crate. They get a tidy profit off of that, and they don't have to issue out any new update. They can just toggle on community-made maps, community-made cosmetics, community-made weapon skins, community-made unusual effects, and they won't be able to. They don't have to lift a finger for it, right? The community does all the work for them. So they will only. It's down to basic corporate strategy, in that they will only do what guarantees them profit without any risk. And TF2 has been, there's no reason to update and invest time and money into an update, into developing one, when there is no incentive to do so. You're already making a profit by just keeping the game as is, because the TF2 community in general has not been able to stop spending money on the game, which Valve makes a profit from. And that kind of leads neatly into my second point, in that the only times Valve has really communicated with the TF2 community at all has been either their bottom line has been directly affected, or that their publicity is being directly affected. Now, the last time we had any major communication outside of a couple tweets, the last time we had blog posts, was really the crate depression of 2019, which was when crates would drop 100% rare items, unusuals. And Valve fixed the problem, talked with the community, got to work quickly. And the reasoning for that is because it directly affected their bottom line. Now, the second reason why Valve communicates has been shown more recently with the hashtag SaveTF2 campaign, which is a publicity campaign started by a bunch of TF2 content creators to bring attention to the state of the game. And Valve responded, and everything stopped, right? Because we were placated by one single tweet that was sent out over a year ago. So that'll probably be the thumbnail of this video, by the way, that tweet. So that has been the only time that Valve has really ever communicated with the TF2 community at large. It's only been when their bottom line has been affected economically or their publicity is being affected through mass awareness campaigns. Now, the reasoning also is that it's down to Valve's internal management style, which we actually know shockingly little about because they're a private company. They don't have to disclose anything to the public. But their internal management structure is largely that developers have wheels on their desks, meaning that they can transfer to whatever project they see most fit. And one of the reasons that nobody is working on TF2 outside of there's no real financial incentive to do so is also that there's no work-related incentive to do so. TF2 is 13 years old, roughly. It is code spaghetti, as it has been described. And nobody wants to work on that and go through the headache of working on that when they can voluntarily work on more efficient, more recent games. But also, in that nobody wants to hop on and create a new update for TF2 or implement a new update when it won't guarantee them any results when it comes time for management reviews, right? Leadership reviews. So imagine going to your boss, telling them you've been working on TF2 for 6 months in your schedule, and you put out a new update. It's all hunky dory, but it doesn't really maintain the same amount of. It doesn't really incentivize any further spending on the game because they can just release a community made crate. They can issue a reskin crate, and they will make the same amount of money as in putting out a major content patch, because these content patches, they are simply vehicles for delivering crates, right? Because that's what makes them money. So there's no real incentive to put work into a major content patch when a simple seasonal crate will do the trick. And secondly, you won't really have any real results to show for it in that way when you could go on to a more popular project, show that you work well with others rather than being the only person working on one single project. You could go on to work to a more successful game like CS:GO, Dota 2, and you can, or whatever Valve is doing internally, whatever VR stuff they like. You can go work on that, and you can show your boss, hey, I've been working on this project with others. They show that I show that I work well with others. We put on a major content patch. It made the company a whole boatload of money because it's a more popular game, and I show that I am an asset to the company. So you got to look at it from three main perspectives, basically, is that corporate strategy, number one. They won't do anything for they won't pour in extra resources when the bare minimum is enough. Point number two is that they don't have any real financial incentive to do so. And point number three is that employees don't have any work-related incentive to work on TF2. So this was kind of a less scripted rambling, but I hope it got my points across that TF2 will probably never get another major content update because it just doesn't make any sort of financial, strategic, corporate sense, right? And I just wanted to put this out as a reality check because the overall impression I get from the TF2 community, having interacted with it for more than a decade, is that a lot of TF2 players are delusional about the state of the game, in that they believe that a content update is just around the corner, it's just around the corner, it's just around the corner, and they will constantly be deluding themselves, deluding others, and constantly buying crates, right? To get the attention of Valve, because the only language a company speaks is money. It's dollars and cents. So the more people buy these seasonal crates, the more people buy TF2 related items, in-game merchandise, whatever, the more it proves to Valve that they can keep the game in the same state and they don't have to update. So I know the simple solution is that you just boycott TF2, but the moment you do that, Valve will see it as unprofitable. They won't put any more work into it, and and either people will go back to buying stuff, or that they'll shut the game down because they have other projects they can work on. So I know this is kind of a pessimistic take, but it's the most realistic take. And I hope that this kind of rambling video, I'll script more of these as topics come up, and I'll actually like script them out instead of just having a page of notes here. Um, so hopefully it gets my point across. Hopefully it can help people realize that TF2 will never get another real major content update. So that's about all for this video. Y'all have a great day, and I hope to see you in game sometime because I won't stop playing the game because it's fun, but you just need to be realistic about its future.